Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. So today, ang lulutuin ko or papakita ko naman sa inyo is how to make this trending baked sushi. I got inspired from one of my friends. She is selling it on her Facebook and Instagram account. I will add her link on the description box so you can check it. If you are anywhere near her location, you can just order from her because she is big time on quality. So I got inspired from her baked sushi. So I thought this might be something fun to do tonight or today for you. So yeah, this is what I'm going to show you. And here are all the ingredients. I'm also going to include it in the description box. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So here are the ingredients that you're going to be needing. For your sushi rice, you need rice wine vinegar. You also need mirin, sesame oil, and sake. Sake is a Japanese rice wine, but I do not have that available, so I'm using Chinese wine as a substitute instead. I'm making California maki, so I have 2 pieces of mangoes in this video, but I really use just one. Now, ideally, you should be using Japanese rice for this recipe, but I do not have Japanese rice, so I'm using jasmine rice instead. You need at least 2 cups of pre-cooked rice. Now, this is optional. You can use sesame seeds as garnish. And then you will be needing Japanese mayonnaise. For extra creaminess, you may want to use cream cheese and a little bit of sour cream. Now, this little guy here is very important. It will season your rice. It's called rice seasoning or furikake. This comes in different flavors. They have salmon flavored and ebi flavored rice seasoning, but this is what I'm using because I like wasabi. Speaking of wasabi, I also have wasabi for the dipping sauce. And you also would be needing nori sheets. I have here 20 sheets, but you're okay. So in here, I'm going to show you how to do your sushi rice. So some people use plain rice on their baked sushi, but I think taking this step or extra step will make your baked sushi taste a little bit better. So if you have a rice cooker, then that's of course always convenient to use. Since I do not have one, I just cooked it in a normal pot on a stovetop. So in here, I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of rice vinegar. If you want it more sour, you can add a little bit more, but it's always better to under season than to over season. So I'm just adding a tablespoon and a half. And now I'm going to add half a tablespoon of mirin. Mirin is a sweet syrup, a sweet Japanese syrup that has a licorice taste to it. And you also want to add wine. Now, ideally, you should be using sake or Japanese wine, but I don't have it. So I substituted it with Chinese wine. I used half a tablespoon of Chinese wine and also added half a tablespoon of sesame oil. And again, you can always adjust the taste of your sushi rice according to your preference. You can add as little or as much as you want. Some people prefer it to be a little bit more sour, so they add a little bit more rice vinegar. So yeah, just taste your rice, and if it's perfect, then that's when you know when to stop adding your seasoning. And that should be ready for our sushi. Here are crab meat and our baked salmon. So for your crab meat, you're going to run a fork from one end to another to shred it easily. And this is how you do it. And do it on the other side as well. Shred it into smaller pieces and repeat it with the rest of your crab meat. For the baked salmon, I placed raw salmon on a tray, season it with salt and pepper, bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, remove the skin, and shred it into small pieces. I'm just going to add a little bit of lime juice just to remove the fishy taste. Now with a small knife, I'm going to shred it into smaller pieces. Use my hands as well to shred the bigger pieces into smaller ones. Put it in a bowl and shred it aside. On another bowl, I have my cream cheese. To that, I'm going to add my Japanese mayonnaise. Japanese mayonnaise is a little bit sweeter than regular mayonnaise. So that is what you want to use. Because after all, this is a Japanese dish. You also want to add a little bit of sour cream to cut the richness of the mayonnaise. And I am going to whisk them all together until it is well combined. Now, to further cut the richness of the mayonnaise, I am going to be adding a little bit more of that lime juice, just a little bit. And for spice, I want to be using Sriracha. If you're a big fan of Sriracha, you can add more of it and just mix them all together. So half of this dressing is going to go to my salmon or baked salmon, and the other half will go to my Kani. So just add the other half on your baked salmon, mix them all together until well combined, and then now we are going to do the other half with the Kani or the crab meat. So add it in there and again mix them all up until everything is covered with that dressing. Mix, mix, mix. And there you have it. So set them aside. Grab your baking dish or baking tray. Grab your pot of rice. Transfer your rice into your baking dish or baking tray, like so. You can flatten it out with the back of your spoon, but since my rice is too sticky to do that, I am going to use a different technique. This actually works. You're going to grab a wax paper, use your palm to flatten out your rice, just like so. Just make sure you have even surface. Push the edges as well. And there you have it. You see uneven sides, you can flatten it out a little bit more. And there you have it. Now I'm going to grab a bread knife or a steak knife. Just run it along the edges to remove the excess rice. And there you have it. Our sushi rice is ready for our toppings. Now, this is the part where you are going to add your rice seasoning. So you want to taste your rice seasoning to see how salty it is. If it is salty, you may want to use it in moderation, but this one is not salty, so I'm going to use a lot of it. Sprinkle them all over your rice. This actually has sesame seeds already, so I don't need sesame seeds anymore. Now, for the other half, I'm going to do California maki, so I'm using ripe mangoes. I'm gonna cover the other half with ripe mangoes, just like so, in a straight line like this, until your half is covered with that. These mangoes are actually very sweet. And just gonna add a little bit more of that mango. Now we are ready to add our imitation crab. And we'll put it on top of the mango. And just spread it all over. Now some people want creamier dressing, but to me this is actually enough. But if you want it, if you want yours to be a little bit more creamier, you can add more mayonnaise to it. For the other half, I'm gonna do my baked salmon. I don't want my baked salmon to go directly on the rice, so I'm gonna use half of a nori sheet on top of that rice before I add my salmon. And just do the same thing. Spread it all over the other half. Press it with your fork. Just make sure all the edges are covered. And it is almost ready. We are going to put it in the oven, 375 degrees. Put it in there. And we're just going to wait. Timer maybe 15 minutes. Okay. We'll leave it there and we'll come back after 15 minutes. So after 13 minutes, we're just going to check it and see if how it's doing inside. Yeah, I think that should be cooked. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn the broiler on. Just putting it back on the broiler. I want to broil the top. So we are now gonna try it and see how it goes. So the idea here, so you have to cut your nori sheets into squares like this and just cut a bite size of your sushi and wrap it in your nori. So this is the California maki and we'll see how it goes. Well, it sure tastes like sushi to me. I want more wasabi. And dip it to your sauce. Messy. Oh my god. It tastes like sushi to me. It's really good. Let's try the salmon. I tried the California maki, so now I'm gonna try the salmon. So just put a spoonful of that into your nori sheet. And we'll find out. Oh my god. Oh my god. The salmon is so good. You can make it creamier, but to me, this is enough. This is just right. I don't want it to be overly creamy. So you can tweak your mayonnaise however creamy you want it. But this to me is perfect. I love it. Okay, the final verdict. Is it worth doing it? If you are take number 3. Take number 1000. If you're someone who loves sushi, then yes, it probably is worth it. If you can finish this entire tray on your own, yes, it is worth it. Because sushi can be very expensive if you are ordering it in a restaurant. So, to me personally, I find this baked sushi or this dish very challenging. First, it's because you have to go all the way up to an Asian grocery store to find all the recipes that you, or ingredients that you need. The nearest supermarket, I don't have all the ingredients that I need. Like for example, this Nori sheets, the wasabi, sake, and mirin. You cannot find it in the nearest supermarket, so you have to go all the way up in an Asian grocery store to find it. If your grocery store offers all of them, then lucky you. Second, from start to finish, I spent an hour and a half. If you're organized, then you probably don't have to spend that much time, but since I am not, I spent an hour and a half doing all of this. And third, I have to spend another 15 minutes to clean up all the mess. Again, it's because I'm not very organized. If you're organized, then you probably do it a different way, then good for you. So, again, to me, it's not worth it. I'm probably not going to be doing it again, not in the next 6 months, or if I have guests that I would want to serve this to, then probably yes, I'll be doing it. If I have or know someone who does it really good, then I will just order it from them because it's very challenging to me. I have a friend who does it in Makati. I'm gonna add her link on the description box so you can check it. If you're in Makati area, you message her and you can just order from her. She's really big on quality, so I'm sure that she does her baked sushi really, really well. Now, I'm gonna eat another one. I'm probably the only person who's gonna eat this because Andrew doesn't like everything that's in this baked sushi.
What's the point of this mirror?
Oh, just so I can see myself. So he doesn't like nori sheets, he doesn't like cream cheese, he doesn't like mayonnaise. All of this stuff he doesn't like rolled into one is on this dish. But just so we can try it ourselves, we made it ourselves. That's some wasabi. Cheers! So good. It's actually better now. It's actually better now when it's cold. California maki. The California maki is so good. So good. Because it's my favorite sushi. Okay. I'm probably gonna eat this in 3 days.